Okay, this is exciting. This is an exciting life today, guys. Hi, LaFon. This is, oh gosh, this is an exciting live because I don't have to try to tiptoe around like things that were hinted at, like, the multiple identities of Melanie McAllister. It's just out there. And how exciting is that? That it's just out there because I have to tell you, it's ridiculously hard sometimes not to say, like, when you're like, I think Melanie is Ashley. It's hard for me not to go, you're right. You are right. But now I can say that because it's out there. Hi, Ragdoll. So exciting. How has my weekend been? My weekend has been good. I wish it was like last weekend. I really think we need to get to the 4-day work week here in America because, last week was fantastic. Hi, Jamie. My Sunday is going well. Hi, Joanne. We took my son to this place this morning for him to play, and then we met my father-in-law for lunch at this place that has, instead of servers, it has like a train that goes around and drops your food off, and my son was enamored by that. So it has been nice. Hello, Andrea. So it has been a nice Sunday, but it's been an exciting week in our little universe because we have started a new book. A book that everybody has been wanting for quite some time now. So that's always exciting. I've been excited about Alexander's book for a very long time. I've had it planned since Haley's book. It only took me 6 other books to get here. Because, I have all the words and all the thoughts for everybody else. So we are here. We are at Alexander's story. People know things. Hope you're well and had a chilled out weekend. I did have a chilled out weekend. Did not have a fun Friday. Hi, Cheyenne. Lost a bunch of my stuff. Still mad about that. But today I rewrote the outtake for Haley cleaning, which I still think is funny, like the first time I wrote it. So, yeah, getting better. Was just a little upset about all that stuff I lost because I was, like I said, I was about a week ahead and I'm trying to stay ahead. So I didn't get to edit today, but that's okay. And I'll make up for it later. There's some time in October. I'm off of work. I'll probably take a couple days off of writing too because I'll have my son full time. So I'll probably be editing when I can that week. So just mentally prepare for, me to take some time off in October because it is. My sister has a baby shower and then it's my son's birthday and then it's my anniversary, her wedding anniversary. There's a lot, going on. So, hi, Marnie. How is my little man doing after he gave you a fright? Are you doing okay? He is fine. He did not understand why it's such a big deal. He is good. The rocks have passed. They didn't do any damage or anything, just take a few years off my life. So, he is fine. Thank you for asking. But, yeah, he did not get the big deal. It's just, you small children, you turn your back for 1 second and they've done something and you're like, oh gosh, here we go. But what can you do? So, kids. Okay, what questions do we have? Everyone is excited as I am. I'm just excited that, we've confirmed Alexander's mate. We have confirmed that. So that's exciting. We've confirmed her many identities. And that is exciting because keeping a secret is really not my strong suit, guys. So, yeah, excited about that. Let's see. Okay. I would be surprised if nobody has questions this week, guys. I feel like there was a lot going on this week. We had, obviously, Cassie's book ended on a cliffhanger too. I told you we would go a little bit past where EJ's book ended, but not too far. With Caden's side, I just decided to go a little bit further than I was originally anticipating because I thought it would be kind of fun. There's some hints there in the last few sentences towards things in Melanie's book and what's happening with that group and the group that came in to save them. So I thought that was fun, and I wanted to put it in there. So I did see some people thinking that Angela went on purpose to get Alexander and Melanie together. That's not the case. That's not what happened. Alania obviously played a part in helping them get Angela. And Angela genuinely was going to try to help Elise. So because Elise was blurry because she was with Melanie, and Melanie is where the blurriness of Angela's visions come into play. So she did not know that Elise was safe. So yeah, and we'll see more of that in this book. So what else did I see? Does no one really have questions this week? I honestly had to laugh out loud moments reading this last chapter. I think it's lovely to see Alexander's personality shine through. Right. I think people were like, oh, he's really moody and angry all the time. That's not really all his emotions. He's normally very calm. We saw him get angry a lot because we were setting up, obviously, this whole, he wanted to meet Melanie and it wasn't happening. Also, we can see how in his head he is. He's arguing with his wolf. Like, Odin said that he told him when he smelled the hoodie that that he smelled it and was like, mine, that's my mate. So they've been arguing for years about this, with Alexander just being a little scared because other wolves are possessive of Melanie, so he's just not sure what it all means, and he's not sure whether or not to trust his feelings. Most days he does, but then he's got a little bit of like weirdness thrown in there because he feels very drawn to Ashley as well. Not her name, like he's drawn to Melanie, but he is drawn to Ashley herself. And obviously we know the reason for that, but he doesn't. So my daughter is fascinated by you. She keeps trying to grab my phone. Well, that is very nice. I'm glad you are. My son grabs my phone all the time, and he wants to watch videos of himself. I'm loving Phil. He is brilliant. Oh yeah, I think he's really funny. He's a fun mix because he's got beta blood in there, but he's also Hakura because, by the way, he is Miley and Jim's son, guys. I saw a lot of people asking who he was. He's Miley and Jim's son. One of them anyway. So yeah, he is funny. I mean, he's hung out with Dylan most of his life because of Wesley and Buttercup. So Dylan's been around him a lot. And Jim is actually kind of funny. So we don't get to see too much of that side of him, but Jim is actually funny. She's 9 months today and started licking the fridge. That happens. My child likes to pick up any sort of toy that he can throw. He'll throw it, but he'll also lick it. It's like, thank you. That's great. Can we not do that? Especially when we're at a different place where it's like, I don't know where all that stuff has been. Let's not lick all the stuff. No wonder children are sick all the time. They're constantly licking things. They have no survival instinct. It's amazing. It's the lack of awareness that children have. No survival instinct. Hi, Alexander. Hi. As Alexander's book is going to be bigger, do him and Melanie stay in one age period longer? Yes. So we see more of what's going on. Yes. I went to 24. I debated back and forth. However, I started at 24. And when we see Melanie's side, obviously there's a period of time where she's unconscious, and we're going to go through a bit of a flashback on her side of how she got to where we're at. Not fully, because there will be more flashbacks within the story, and there's going to be other ways that we see kind of what she went through. So we will see that, but we are going to see kind of the start of some other things when she's unconscious and Brody is taking care of her. So that's what we'll see on her side. But then we'll go into when they're 25, and that's where they'll be most of the time. So yeah. So the cookies have been around for a while. Robert can't be the only mole because he would have been too young. I can't wait for all the answers. The cookies have obviously been around for a while. Keep in mind, Robert is Elise and EJ's age. So he's not Melanie's age. He's older than her. He's more around Elise, Tristan, EJ, and Jason's age. Let's see. Are the 2 wolf charms that Ashley gave Elise special like the Melanie ones? And Caden's watch, what protection would be needed for the Hakira Wolfsbane antidote for Jason? We will see. But yes, anything coming from Melanie or Ashley has something special to it. Was Melanie visited by Azir? Yes. Telling her that things were not what they seemed when she was in the hospital. Yes. He couldn't keep her very long because she's not one of his children, and he wasn't allowed to tell her a lot. But that is not the only time she will see him. Yeah. He gets to stay a little longer next time. I'm thinking the Omega is being used by Robert. I hope for her sake. I will say she's a very sweet, bubbly person. That's what I'll say about that Omega. When Emlyn turned to water, was it because she knew Mel's wolf was suppressed? Yes. So if you remember back in her book, when she was talking about this getting out there in the open, which their group worked very hard to make sure it didn't filter anywhere else. So it's not widely known. Corbin had to dig for that information to figure out that, hey, you can actually do this. And he only knew because his uncles and his mom were looking into it, and he kind of snooped through their stuff. So, and he traced it back to where they kind of lost the trail. Corbin picked it up and dug a little bit deeper because obviously with Katie, Dustin, and Ryan, this hadn't happened. So they were kind of just not trying to, poke the dragon and get that information out there even further. Well, Corbin and Caden believed it possibly could have happened. So Corbin dug a little bit deeper. But yes, that is why Emlyn turned to water, because when all that came about, for some reason, and she didn't know why, and she didn't tell anybody, she got a flash of Alexander. So she's been asking Sam questions about Melanie this whole time because she knows, because she met her. And she knew before that because she knew her name. But she had been asking questions about Melanie, and from what she knew, she was very relieved because when Melanie turned 16, they're like, yeah, we have pictures of her wolf. Here's Sam's showing people here's the picture of her wolf and stuff like that. So Emlyn was relieved and kind of let it go because she was like, oh, I'm crazy because you can only do it when they're 16 and Melanie has a wolf, so it's fine. So Emlyn kind of is blaming herself a little bit, and she did turn to water because she had been trying really hard to make sure that didn't happen to Melanie. But when it came out that Melanie is Ashley, obviously that's what happened. Hi, Amanda. Hope you have a good weekend. Hi, Laura. I am having a good weekend. Thank you. Hi, Ramonsa. Did Corbin test the cookies? We are going to find out what Corbin is doing with the cookies. That's going to come out. Will we find out more about when Melanie got her toy wolf? I feel like there's more to the store having the exact type of toy. There is not. She just had a specific toy that she wanted, and she described it to the worker who was a human, and they had just gotten a group of that toy in. And she got it because she asked Elise what Alexander's toy looked like, because that's, when she heard his name, she just knew. She's like, he's mine, and I want a wolf that looks like him. So she told the person working what she wanted in the toy, and the guy was like, oh, we just got those in the bag, and he went to get it. There's nothing more with that. It's just a toy. It's late here, so I'll watch this tomorrow, but I have to ask, is Keaton the next book after Xander, which I'm dying for, or is it something else? So it's either going to be Keaton or a ribbon novel. I haven't decided. We'll probably see how I feel at the end of this book if I, need a break from our original reality and go to the ribbon or go to Keaton. I've changed my mind like 16 times. Like, I think last live I was like, it's absolutely Keaton. And then in the same sentence, I was like, I don't know. So I don't know. It's going to be one of the two. It's going to be one of the two. Nicole, happy Sunday. Finally was able to log in for a live. Hi, Nicole. The Haley outtakes for this time when she finds out she wasn't told about the headaches are going to be hilarious. I feel like she's not happy. She's not happy. Because obviously, we know Haley, she's fiercely protective and, part of her annoyance comes from the fact that they should know that there's something weird about the headaches, which they can't. Specifically, Eric can't, because he was also compelled by a vampire, but they should have known, like, hey, I'm around Haley, and she's not like, hey, let me heal this headache. It's clearly bothering you, because she knows. She would know. So she's, like, really annoyed because she's like, you should have known there was something weird about that headache because there's something physically wrong with you, or I would have done something about it. Like, you get a group of 16 people together and all of them have headaches. That's weird. So she's kind of annoyed. Has the moment for Lexi to help Alexander already passed? Yes, that happened at the end of EJ's book, and it was talked about in Cassie's as well. Did Tristan look into the cookies like he told Mel he would do, or did he forget? We're going to find out. I will say this. Tristan didn't lie to his sister. He obviously knew something was going on, but there's a reason he doesn't remember that he might remember now. So, will we ever find out how Melanie knew at such a young age that Alexander was her mate? Yes, we will in this book. Will we get a book just from Dylan's point of view? I don't have a plan for that at the moment. But I never say no because he's fun. And, when you need a break from things that are, Dylan's kind of a fun one to go to. And I think he could be a fun one to do I think it would be fun to do his point of view from right before Lacey left through maybe even when she comes back. Because obviously that outtake with his side of Lucas and Emily meeting, I feel like that was really fun. That was hilarious. I love his New Year's Eve outtake too. So I just don't know where you would end Dylan's book because his side of things are just so fun because he has to make everything fun because he knows how serious their lives are. So, he does things like that. Hi, Allison. I was surprised that Bjorn allowed Caden to keep him in the dark about the situation since he is king. So, there is a little bit to that. Caden is his nephew by marriage, and he's the commander of the armies. So he knew it wasn't something that affected, one of their people's safety, and he knew Caden was going to tell him. He knew he could make Caden tell him if he wanted to, but he, it is his nephew. He kind of gives him a little bit of leeway. He's also mated to his niece by blood. So Caden gets a little bit of leeway from Bjorn because they are related. So, don't want Astrid to be upset with you because Caden's upset. So he knew that Caden would tell him if it was something that was, and obviously Caden made a mistake. He should have told Bjorn that he needed to talk to Alexander because Bjorn would have made sure that they got to talk. So obviously there was a mistake in there. There were multiple mistakes there, and all of them admit that. So, I thought that was Tristan who made the promise, and I'm guessing he was compelled right after that. Yes, Tristan did promise to look into the cookies. Will we find out how a vampire got so close or where to compel them all? It happened in Red Run. We already know that, and we already know Red Run has a traitor. So obviously someone on Border Patrol brought them in. Okay, catch up over here. Nicole, will Alexander and Melanie be in the ribbon? If you can't answer, I understand. I'm just guessing they are. We'll find out. We'll find out what their story is. We are officially to it. Hi, Amanda. I see you saying hello. So, did Alania really want to help Lexi, or was that just a ploy to have her try to have them get to Angela? So, Alania wrote that note to Lexi well before everything with Haley fully developed in her sight and what was going to happen. So at that point, in all the sights in the past that she saw, from where Haley was at in her life, she just knew Lexi was important to her. And so, she saw some of like Lexi's path because she focused on it. It's hinted at and it's outright stated that Alania, for a long time, didn't look into Haley's life for a reason, because she didn't want to see what was going on, because she didn't want to have to be a mom, to be blunt. So she ignored a lot of things about Haley until later, until Haley left. But she obviously met Lexi's family when Haley was little. So that's when she's not looking into Haley's path too hard. But she looked into Lexi's path and saw that they crossed paths. And genuinely, she knew that they're, from some of the conversations she had, that Haley wasn't exactly happy with her and that they weren't in a good place. So she genuinely was manipulative and not really helpful in her advice. She just wanted to be seen as helpful. But I mean, obviously her letter wasn't super helpful. So, it's typical Alania fashion. It's about her. But I mean, the advice was genuinely there to kind of show, because obviously at this point she didn't think she was going to die. But it was to show Haley, like, hey, I do care. See, I offered this olive branch and I don't interfere with my paths, but I did for you. So if that answers your question, let me know. Is there a way for her Akira child? What is there a way for Akira to get a child bond with a kid they adopted? I haven't actually thought about that. I'll have to think about that. Probably. I think so. It happens with me. Probably. Well done on weaving the web that they are all checking into. Weaving the web that they are all checking into things in the background. They aren't just accepting the situation. Right. I think that's a fun thing. Not all of them accepted what things were. They were all kind of weirded out by things, and they would get onto something, and then something else would happen, and they would get heard from it. But they kept coming back to it. So they are all fighting the magic, specifically. Well, all of them. The McAllisters are, the Connors are, the Kyles are. They're all fighting it in their own way. So it's, unfortunately, if you were Melanie, would that matter to you? Alania has to have set up so much and given information. I'm wondering if it is to get at Haley, or if just because she's a jealous bee and wants to undermine Angela. So it's not so much about Haley at this point. It's about vanity. Like, she cares about Cassie to a degree because Cassie is beautiful, and people talk about how much more beautiful Haley is than her, and that Cassie looks like her. So therefore they're saying Cassie is more beautiful than Alania. Angela also looks like Haley, but she also has sight. More powerful sight than Alania did, and Alania doesn't like that because she wants people, dead or alive, to talk about how powerful and amazing she was, because she's vain. Accepting an adopted child into their bloodline could let them feel a connection. Maybe. I think it would. I'm wondering, because Veronica adopted Haley in the earthly realm, and I think it'd be really sweet if she could have a bond with Haley. That might be a fun thing to do, because I think Veronica would want that. So I have to think about that. But yeah, I mean, our core group is fighting the magic, and they're running around and finding out things. And for the first time, the Phil getting a source in Nashville is a big deal, because the Connors and all the allies alike are not liked down there. Like Eric can't even go there without causing a problem, which really should be a flashing sign to people. I'm just saying. But they have to send Alpha Theo, but not even Theo has a source. That's why they're trying to cultivate Ashley. That's why Alpha Theo wants Ashley to trust him, because he wants Ashley to be his source, because they don't have any. So Phil getting a source down there is actually really big. Like, that's a really big deal. And Jim and Miley are very proud of that. But yeah, and like Alexander said, he's figured out, like he's like 1,000% sure that Ashley is the source for Caden. He just doesn't understand why. He's curious now as to whether or not she has a dash of Hakura blood in there, but they've outright stated why she can't have Hunter blood. And and now this girl we met her briefly in Cassie's book. She was just mentioned like cursively. I was just throwing her in there. She was with the group at the end. Sorry, I read a question and I have to answer. It's going to be funny. But now that Blair is involved with this warrior who just, lined up to be Phil's source, because I love my nuggets. He's getting more information about Ashley that people don't have, because people outside of Black Path don't talk about Ashley. So this pack is getting more information about Ashley. And there's a little tidbit in there too about that not even our characters really picked up on. I haven't seen anybody else talk about it either. But Blair wasn't like super excited to find her mate at first until Ashley said it was fine. And that should be something people find odd. And it's something that something that's been going on in that pack, and we'll see it. We'll see what's actually going on with that. That place sucks, guys. There's really just no way around it. Why does Alexander not like Lux? It's not that he doesn't like him. He doesn't like that he flirts with Ashley. So he's fine with Lux when they're not talking about Ashley. He doesn't care that he gets all the girls. He is far too excited that Ashley has absolutely no interest in Lux, but he doesn't like that Lux has an interest in Ashley and he gets to see her. So he's a little bit jealous because Lux knows Ashley. So he's talked to her. Alexander obviously gets to communicate with her by email, and he's trying to meet her. And it's a little like it's weird to them. They're like, everybody wants to meet us. I keep trying to meet this girl and she doesn't want to meet me, but Lux knows her. So it's a bit of jealousy about Ashley, but that's all it is. Ashley, that is Melanie, because now we know that and I can say that. It's exciting to me, you guys. Which one of the quads can control someone's body? So it's temporarily... It's Jade. Jade can do that. To a degree, Jaden can't do it like Jade can, but Jaden has a little bit of it. So, but it's Jade. Juliana's the one who can take powers. Because they know that she is really Melanie and not Ashley. Who at the point we are in Alexander's book, no one... Are we talking about Black Path? Black Path are the people who know who Ashley Griffin really is. They know that she picked a fake name. They know her name is Melanie McAllister. The reason that they don't talk about her outside of the pack is because they were ordered not to by their alpha. Because they were told that if they talk about her... Okay, yes. So Black Path doesn't talk about who Ashley really is because their alpha told them if they did... Black Mountain, Red Run, Blue Moon, and all their allies were going to come down, Yellow Hills, all were going to come down and decimate their pack because they don't want to hear about her because they're mad at her. So that's why they don't talk about it. So Black Path's alphas and co sound like Alpha Max, and alphas who are spelled, are they just nasty pieces of work? They're not spelled. We'll see a bit more about them and what's going on with them. They're not spelled. So we briefly saw the Luna say that Edward Davis wasn't always like this. He had dreams and he had goals about how he was going to be a better alpha. And obviously Cain is not like his father. And Dax isn't like his. But yeah, they're not spelled. Is Paisley Brutus's mate that ran away? Is she? It's I think you mean Buck, the lead warrior from Black Path. We'll find out. Levon, I think you mean Buck. Yeah, I think you mean Buck. But Paisley was mentioned, and I like nuggets of things and stuff. So, I've had a picture of Ashley/Melanie picked out forever. I haven't uploaded it to any of the character casts because I couldn't say who all she was, because obviously at this point we know she is she's Melanie McAllister, she's Ashley Griffin, she's Bravo 1, and she's the Swiffer. So after her on Monday, I'll upload Black Paths. I have all of those people's pictures. So we'll see the group that we've been talking about in Cassie and Caden's book in this book. So that's why I don't have her picture up. I've had her picture for a very long time, actually. I've had her picture since book 3. So yeah. Yes, Buck. Yeah. Buck. Buck is Buck. Buck. You just gotta say Buck. Goes with something else, which someone might say at some point. Black Path are just idiots. Not exactly, because they're smart enough not to get caught, because they're doing a bunch of bad things. So they're corrupt. It's a way to go about it. Will Melanie go back to being called Melanie, or will she stick with Ashley? We'll see what she does. I will tell you that when they're alone, her friends call her Melanie. They only call her Ashley around other people. So. Are you happy that we are at this point and getting ready for? I am so happy we are at this point, guys. I can't express how hard it was, not to mention that the same character was 4 people, or answer the question of why I hadn't uploaded her picture. I liked I saw the theory that, we're like all the other packs and we can't see her picture. That's not why that happened, but I liked it. But I am happy we're at this point, because people have been speculating about who Alexander's mate is for a long time. And obviously, since EJ's book started, everybody was convinced it was Melanie. But I couldn't say that because we didn't know, even though we knew, hadn't been stated. And now we know that Melanie is 4 people. So even though, let's be honest, we knew, but it wasn't stated. But now it's stated, so we can talk about it. It's been very hard. It's very hard in my head sometimes, because I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are so right. You're right, but I just can't tell you. Or there was one detail wrong, and I was so close, but I can't say that. Oh, it's hard. But yes, this is a roller coaster of a book. A lot happens. A lot happens, guys. Was there an option for Bjorn not to become king? Could he have passed the crown to Marcus? Of course he could. He could do that. If he didn't want to be king, the Cure aren't about making people do what they don't want to do. But Bjorn has always wanted to be king. By the way, I came up with another, I don't know if anybody caught it in Alexander's chapter, but I came up with a different ribbon theory, and I had Alexander throw it out there. So I came up with a ribbon strand when writing his first chapter, where as a child, Haley has enough and she fights back with her powers and just, instinctually with the physical side of fighting. And then she escapes and leaves Frey. And so she's being chased by Fabian and his group, by Aiden and Arian, who are like stunned to find out she has powers. And before she turns 16, she runs across one of her brother's mates who recognizes her and is like, whoa, flag on the play. What are you doing out? So I came up with that ribbon reality while writing Alexander's. So that was fun. That was fun. Okay. Back to on topic. Did they find Odette or did I miss that? No, they didn't. I swear sometimes I have to reread books because I find the nugget after it. I'm like, oh, no, they didn't find her. Is that why Angela had blurry visions? Because Melanie is really 4 people. No. So Melanie now has her wolf. The spell is broke. Does Alexander know it's Melanie he met in Cassie's book? So that's certainly what Kaylin and Corbin think. They think, and Alexander himself, Drake asked a lot of questions that Caden and, or that Micah was like, all those questions were accurate because Alexander said that's not exactly true because he asked why his daughter didn't have a wolf. And Alexander said, well, that's not exactly true. And then he kind of glossed over it. So it's certainly implied that she has her wolf now, but we'll find out. Does Alexander know it's Melanie he met in his book? Yes, and he says that. He says he knows it's Melanie, but that's not what he was told her name was. But he knew who it was the whole time. He knows what she looks like. He has those videos of her dancing. He knows who she is. He knows what she smells like. He absolutely knew who she was. So, yeah. Did Melanie ask Emmeline to confirm Alexander was her mate for sure when they met? No. I assume Alexander was afraid of the answer she'd give, so stuck with his I don't want to know. So that's part of it. That's part of Alexander's motivation behind having Emmeline not tell him. Part of it is he does like how Lexi and Chase, because he's grown up with Lexi, so he likes all their stories, like Emmeline and Lucas. He likes their story. He likes his parents' story. They didn't know. Eric waited for a really long time, and that's part of it too. Like Eric waited for a long time for Haley to come along. So he likes that story, and he likes how Chase and Lexi came together. He likes that. Are Bjorn's kids princes or Bjorn kids are princes? Yeah, Zader's title is wrong. I've thought about that. I'll correct that. When I'm doing editing, there are some titles that are wrong. Like I think I've called Phelan a duchess, and she's obviously a princess. Zader is obviously a prince. I don't know why, but sometimes I got confused in that. I've also said at the New Year's Eve, they were all freaking out because they're like, a prince has been born, but really he's a duke. Guys, small little brain farts that I will fix in editing. Is there a ribbon reality that Haley's mother isn't horrid? Yes. The one where Fenelton's not dead. She's not awesome, but she's not horrible. Do Aiden, Arian, and Fenelton realize what Elania is doing to interfere with their children's... Yeah. I mean, they know, but there's nothing they can do. She did it before she died. There's nothing they can do. Was it Claire that Melanie attacked? It's okay if we find out that detail in the book. We will find out that detail in the book, but the signs certainly point to it, don't they? We're assuming that Melanie/Ashley/Bravo 1 is the White Wolf, right? Is that why she knows Alexander is her mate? I don't know what everyone is assuming. I feel like that seems to be something that people do assume. We're going to find out why Melanie is so positive that Alexander is her mate in this book. At this point, we just know that she knows. So we will find out why, though. Alexander said that he feels his siblings more than the others. Is that because of him being a healer? Does he have some power? It's because he's a healer. He's more in touch with his feelings. And Haley also has that connection with her kids. He does too, because he's a powerful healer. The videos of Melanie dancing are Stone's videos of her dancing, and Black Bath in the background was doctored. It would explain the aging of her over the years, but then what does she wear? I mean, she wears just workout clothes. But the videos are of Melanie dancing in she's dancing around in the forest. She has a place at Black Path she goes. They obviously know where it is, and they record it, and they put a background into it that was New York stolen. Yes, so they are videos of her dancing. She is the one dancing in those pictures, or in those videos. Of all the things you can fake about her, how she dances is not one of them. Many people have said it's very unique and draws you in. You can't fake that. So it is actually her. Is Black Path part of the ring? Is that why they have a connection to the undergrounds? We will find out what they're up to and what's going on with them. TJ sending calm to everyone at the end of the book. Is he an empath? Yes. Him and that was explained in EJ's book, I think. But TJ and Brianna are empaths. Okay. Do we have any other questions? So much information will come at you tomorrow, guys. So much. Provided, my computer cooperates and my work cooperates, but so much information. When Cassie goes into her heat condition, is the lead up symptoms more like a fairy or more like a wolf? They're more like a fairy. Cassie's wolf side of her is the so obviously Alexander and EJ are more in touch with their wolf. Cassie is in touch with her wolf, but as we saw in her book, it's not as a strong a connection as it is. Obviously, she still has one. She still fights as one, but she goes towards her fairy powers and her Kira fighting style more than she does her wolf. Like, her wolf has to be like, hey, it's my turn. So, how many concupiscence does Cassie have a year? 2. So many, but I feel like you can't answer. You can always try. For a few more minutes, guys. I've got 6 more minutes, so I have to go get my kid up. Have we met any partial sirens or kitsunes yet? Yes. Yes. No. Yes. Met. They've been talked about. Who was King Arthur's maker? He is dead, so we don't talk about it. Any other questions? Is Lux Odette's brother? We will find out those answers. We know he has a sister. Are we going to see a situation where Melanie is not willing to forgive her family for a while? I mean, they're obviously going to be in a tough spot because I will say at first, there's going to be a not willing to hear the explanation because obviously it's been almost 7 years. And we'll see all her feelings about that. But I mean, the McAllisters have a hard road to get back for all of them. It's going to be hard for them as a family. There's just no way around that. Like, there's no, there's no way there's not hurt feelings on all sides. So, you've got a huge conflict between Jason and Melanie, because Melanie's been getting letters from Jason. They're obviously not from him. He thinks she's in New York, but they're in his handwriting, and that's what she has to communicate with him. And Jason's a little upset that she believed it was him. And then from Melanie's side, a lot of things have been said that are very hurtful that might not have been from, she's thought they were from Jason for 7 years almost. So there's a lot of hurt there. There's a lot of hurt to get through with the McAllisters. So, and it's just not something you can sweep under the rug and get over. I don't think that's I know my books are fantasy, but I try to keep the relationships themselves somewhat real. So obviously there's a lot to unpack with them, and it's not just something that we're all going to be okay with. Oh, hey, you're not dead. Oh, okay, everything's cool now. That's not how that goes at all. So, is the person alive who started the rings? Yes. And have they been mentioned? Yes. So Melanie is mad at Peter because of the letter she believes he wrote and was so formal about it, and she believes, no pun intended, but he threw her out to the wolves. That is not the only reason, but it certainly started it. We will find out more of the reasons. Let's see. Okay. Are we going to find out how Eric reacts to Cassie being pregnant? Yes. But Melanie will forgive Alexander because she knows he cannot lie. She's never been mad at him. So, hurt. She's hurt, but she's not mad at him. So. But yeah, she is not mad at Alexander. She knows that him and Jason have been friends since they were kids, and he's never met her. So she has no idea that he liked her. Elise never told her that. So in her mind, she's just someone's kid sister. She knows that he's hers and she's his, but she knows that he doesn't know that, or in her mind, he doesn't know that. It was just, Jason's upset, and yeah, and we'll find out why. Oh, guys, it's a whole thing. We'll find out how all that came to be and the stuff. But she's hurt, but she's not mad at Alexander. That was what I was hoping. Just wanted to get a little insight. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely not something. It's definitely not a situation that you can just get over. She's coming from pack one, that they have each other's backs, and she's been very protected in her life, and she knows that they know stuff like this. They always know stuff like this. So it's weird that they don't know that this is going on. So it's a little unfathomable to her, kind of, because she's like, what do you mean you guys always know stuff's going on? And there's a bit of it. She's mad herself, because obviously she's in the resistance. But Tristan, Sam, and Drake were left alone for a reason. And it's not because of the resistance. It's about her. And so she's a little upset that she never realized that all this kind of wasn't real. So yeah, there's a lot to that. Wishing you a great week with cooperative technology. Thank you. The person who started the ring, is she hiding in plain sight? Are they pretending to be nice and a part of the pact or supernatural group? They're not pretending to be nice. No. We've met one of them. Actually, we've technically met all three. Two were in a dream somewhere along the way. Someone's. Is the person that created the rings the vampire that could compel other groups and they thought met his final death? That's certainly a thought. All right, I will take this last question, then I gotta go. But she will know he didn't reject her because he can't lie. Well, Alexander has said when they met, he knew it was Melanie, but Melanie doesn't know that because that's not who he met her as. So that's a whole thing, and we'll see that. So we will see things this week. A lot of information coming at you. Hopefully tomorrow. Let's all cross our fingers. Technology and work be on my side. So, have a great rest of your week, and we will chat. There's a lot. We're finally to the story. I'm so excited. There's so much that goes on. We've got some epic Dylan lines coming up, guys, because Dylan is with the group that went to go save Angela, and he is with the group to go rescue Melanie and her friends. So we've got some epic Dylan lines coming up, you guys. It's really funny. So I had to throw him in there. He has to be there because this is a very serious moment of stuff going on, and we have to have Dylan for, comedic effect. So I will talk to you guys at least next Sunday. Who knows if I'll jump on here before? Could. But yeah, everybody have a good week, and I will talk to you later.